Hi everybody, Armored Pants here, and I have another video for you. This one again is looking at spotting and scouting, and in particular pitfalls that we want to avoid when we are playing the spotting and scouting role. And this follows up from the video I did a couple of weeks ago where I said about the importance of spotting and scouting and how to do it. And since then, a lot of you guys have come back to me and said, that you're dying quite often, etc. like that, and asked me if I can give some tips as to how that can be avoided, pitfalls that we want to avoid. So happy to do that. So we're looking at some gameplay here. You can see it's on Yamamoto Harbor. I'm in the LTTB, the Russian Tier 7 light tank, which is basically an excellent scouting vehicle. It has all the attributes that you want: speed, mobility, view range, concealment numbers, etc. This is going to be a mastery game, so basically it's a game which I think went pretty well and showed just how to execute light tank play, particularly when you're up tiered as we are in this game. Now, first thing I'm going to say is that you saw what I did there in the opening sequence. I spotted up the enemy. A lot of reds are spotted here. You can see now my teammates are actually putting damage in there. Just hit the bulldog there, smashed him up. I've been able to put a round in, etc. T69, and I'm just keeping position here, keeping out of danger. Now, the pitfall that most of you have asked me if I could address is that you find yourselves being isolated. So you're trying to be good corporate citizens. You do the right thing. You go to the fast-moving channel and you try to spot and scout, and you get overwhelmed and you die, and it's RTG, return to garage, pretty early. So how do we avoid that? Well, it's pretty basic. It actually goes back to before the game even starts. So what we do is we need to check the game setup. This is key to playing any tank type, but in particular, because you're so fast moving, you get into trouble so quickly, it's key when you are a fast moving tank, in particular light tank, because you've got no armor. So what we need to do is check the setup, and what we need to do is the following. We count the light tanks, we count the medium tanks, obviously we count the TDs and the heavies too, but the light and medium tanks, we categorize those as fast movers, and the number of those is going to give you a good idea of how the reds are likely to deploy once the game starts. So in particular, we want to have a look at the number of tanks that you're going to come up against should you go down the fast moving channel. So if you are on your own, the only fast mover on your team, and there are 4 fast movers on the red team, then if you go down the light channel, and on this map here that we're looking at, that is C. In some maps it's A, but it's C on this map, Yamamoto Harbor. If you go down there on your own, it's more than likely you're going to get spotted up, you're going to be isolated, and you're going to die, and it's RTG very quickly. But if you count the setup properly, and you know that you have an even number of fast movers and your fast movers are coming with you, then you have a fair chance of spotting up the enemy without being overwhelmed. The enemy's not going to push onto you. Alternatively, if you are actually outnumbered in terms of fast movers, but your TDs or heavies come to support you, then you can also move. But if your TDs and heavies don't, and you're outnumbered 3-1 or whatever on the fast moving channel, don't go down the fast moving channel. It's simple. Do something else. So for example, on this map here, you could go towards B, and you can see if you could spot up the enemy going towards A or going towards C. See if you could spot them up without being isolated, because you're close enough to your allies that you're not going to get rushed and that you can move over there for cover. So basic lesson is, do not simply go down the fast moving channel because you believe you should go there to spot and scout. If you're going to die, then that's pointless, because your team has lost its eyes, and in actuality that's of no benefit to them whatsoever. You're better off not spotting anybody, staying alive so you can spot and scout later on in the game. So first pitfall to avoid is check the setup and don't go off on your own, even if you're the only fast mover there. Try to keep yourself close to your teammates, even if there are no other fast movers on the team. Secondly, and I've said this many times on channel before, when checking the setup, and this is where I always say, you should always watch tank reviews, even if you have no intention whatsoever of ever playing or getting that tank. Why? Because it gives you valuable information that enables you to play better against that tank, which is why I always say it's worthwhile watching tank reviews regardless of whether or not you have or intend to get that tank. In this example here, in this game, if there was an RU-251 on the other team, we know that he's a view range of 304 meters, one of the best in Blitz at his tier. And therefore, more than likely, even with my good view, range, and concealment numbers, if I'm in the LTTB, he's going to spot me up earlier than I'm going to spot him up. And if there are other fast movers there, for example, a Progredo or something like that, there is a lot of firepower and you can be removed pretty quickly. So therefore, understanding the tanks on the other team is also key. If you're going to play light tanks a lot at a particular tier, then look at the stats or look at reviews of the tanks you're likely to come up against. So for example, if you're playing tier 7, you're going to come up against tier 7, tier 8 light and medium tanks. So have a look at the stats of the most popular one, a particular view range. Therefore, you can avoid being spotted up early and dying early and have a more successful game. So guys, I know that this is a short video, but that is one of the major pitfalls that you're going to fall into when you're spotting and scouting, is being isolated and dying early. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found the video helpful. And now I guess all that remains for me to say is, as always, cheers Mush and pants off. I know they're glasses, but you know what I mean.